She came back a week later, walked into the apartment, stopped in the doorway, said my name, as if she was hearing it for the very first time. She stood in the dim hallway light, a stranger at her own home. Her hair was tied in a tight bun, even though she never wore it that way. Her hands were covered in small scrapes, and on her wrist, a faint bluish mark, like the trace of a zip tie or a strap. I wanted to hug her, to breathe in the scent of her skin, to feel, just for a second, that the nightmare of this week was finally over, that she was home, alive. But she stepped back from me, half a step, and asked quietly, almost politely, "Excuse me, who are you?" I smiled. Stress, shock, exhaustion. I choked on my own breath, froze. Artyom is our son, the boy we buried 3 years ago. And in that moment I understood. She was not joking, not even close. This was not the woman who left her home a week ago, not my wife. This was not the woman who left her home a week ago, not my wife. This was not the woman who left her home a week ago, not my wife. This was not the woman who left her home a week ago, not my wife. This was not the woman who left her home a week ago, not my wife. This was not the woman who left her home a week ago, not my wife. This was not the woman who left her home a week ago, not my wife. This was not the woman who left her home a week ago, not my wife. She had been gone for a week, 7 days without calls, without messages. She had vanished. For 7 nights, I woke up at every tiny noise in an empty apartment where everything felt too quiet, too still, too wrong. The police said, "Give it time." Friends said, "She will come back." But I kept hearing only silence, and that slow, crawling anxiety that lives under your skin, the kind you feel when you know something has happened. On the 7th day, the lock in the door clicked. I jumped so fast I knocked over a chair. She was standing in the hallway, as if she had grown out of the floor, the same woman who walked out of our home a week ago. She walked into the living room, as if she were seeing our home for the very first time. She ran her fingers across the table, slowly, like someone testing the texture of something unfamiliar. Then she opened the cabinet with the dishes, and stared at the plates for a long moment. Though choosing which one she recognized, I stood behind her, afraid to breathe. "Are you okay?" I finally asked. She turned her head toward me, too slowly, as if she were learning the movement all over again. "Yes, I think so," she said, but the tone was not hers, too even, too foreign. She opened the fridge, saw a container with her favorite pasta, and asked, "Did you make this?" The thing is, she was the only one who ever made that pasta. Her recipe, her ritual. She could cook it blindfolded, half asleep, any day of the week. And now she looked at it like she had never seen it before. She reached into her bag and pulled out her phone, holding it as if it was a strange object. And then I saw her eyes widen. The screen was empty. Not a single message, not a single call from the last 7 days. Everything erased. Absolutely everything. "That is odd," she whispered. word, and I realized that odd was not about the phone. She opened the camera, stared at her own reflection, like it belonged to someone else, then turned to me. Have I always looked like this? The world tilted a little. In that moment, for the first time, I thought, if this is not amnesia, then what is it? She sat down on the couch, hid her hands inside the sleeves of her hoodie, but I saw them. The bruises. Not just on her wrist, thin dark lines on the back of her hand. On her neck, marks like someone had held her there. Where were you? I asked. She lifted her eyes, and something flashed in them. Something unnaturally calm. She said it so easily, as if she was not talking about a missing week, but about forgetting to buy bread. And right then, I understood. If she remembered anything at all, it definitely was not me. She always walked around the house barefoot. Even in winter, she hated socks, said they made her feel trapped. But now, she asks for slippers. The same pair I bought her 3 years ago. The pair she never wore. She moved down the hallway in small, careful steps, as if she were afraid to step on her own shadow. I watched quietly, unsure whether I should interfere or just observe. Do you want some water? I asked. She nodded, but when I handed her the glass, she took it with both hands, like a child afraid to spill. She drank slowly, as if relearning how to swallow, and then that look again, right through me. It is too quiet here, she said, and walked into the next room. But the quiet was normal. Our house had always been quiet. She was the one who had changed. She walked to the window and yanked the curtain back, sharply, as if checking whether someone was there, then stepped away, as though the light had struck her. Have we lived here long? She asked. It took me a moment to process the question. A long time, I said. She nodded slowly, too slowly, like she was trying to understand the meaning of the word, not the answer itself. Then she noticed a photograph on the wall, our wedding photo. In it, she was alive, laughing, real. She stepped closer, touched the glass with her fingertips. She is beautiful, she whispered. She, not I, not we. That is you, I said. She turned and smiled, a wide smile, but not hers. Not the smile she had when she laughed at my stupid jokes. This was the smile of someone trying to imitate an emotion they did not actually feel. Really? She asked. Her voice trembled, like someone had taught her to say polite things. And that is when the cold hit me. Thick, sticky cold. The kind that appears when you realize you are living beside someone who wears your wife's face, but is not your wife. And the most terrifying part, she was trying so carefully, so neatly, like a bad actor terrified of ruining the scene. Are you sure I was okay? She asked, still staring at the photo. I swallowed. She looked at our wedding picture like it was a still from a movie she had never seen, a stranger's life, not her own. And I understood. My wife's habits died first. And whatever comes next was only the beginning. She always said our home was her fortress, that she could fold the walls like skin, that she knew every creak, every reflection flight, every corner. But now she walked as if she were seeing the layout for the very first time. She stopped by the storage room door and asked, "What is in here?" I opened it. She leaned in and immediately stepped back, just from boxes, an old vacuum, a can of paint. "It is dark," she whispered. Laughed, nervously, stupidly, because my real wife loved the dark. She slept without a nightlight, breathing near darkness. But this woman, no, she was afraid, truly afraid. "Do you want me to leave the door open?" I asked. She nodded, slowly. Then, walking past the kitchen, she stopped again, touched the gas stove, and yanked her hand back. "Hot?" I asked. "No," she said. "I just have never seen one like this." I froze. The stove was ancient. We bought it before the wedding. She would cooked on it hundreds of times, thousands. And now, never seen one like this. My stomach twisted. A lump rose in my throat. "Do you want to cook something?" I asked, trying to drag us back to normal. She turned to me and said, with such painful sincerity I almost dropped the plate, "What do I usually cook?" It hit me, clean, precise, right in the sternum. "You cook a lot of things," I said carefully. "For example," I opened my mouth and realized I was afraid to list anything, not because she would not remember, but because what if she remembered the wrong thing? "Pie," I offered. She frowned. "What pie?" I swallowed. That simple question, domestic, harmless, sounded like an interrogation, as if she were checking what I knew about her, or what I should know. She stepped closer, stood right in front of me, and whispered, "Can you tell me who I was? Not who I am, who I was." I stepped back, because that phrasing was not about memory loss. It was about someone who believed her past self was someone else entirely. "You are my wife," I said. "We love each other." She looked at me for a long, long time, then smiled. Only with her lips. Her eyes did not move. "All right," she said. "I will try. I will try." As if she were learning a role, as if she were preparing to become the person she was supposed to be, but was not. And in that moment, I understood two things. First, stress does not erase a personality completely. Second, she was remembering. She was studying the house, studying life, studying herself, studying the way someone studies a place where they need to survive, not live, survive. And when she went to bed that night, on her side of the mattress, with a precision that felt almost instructive, I realized I could not fall asleep beside the woman I loved, because she lay there perfectly still, did not move, did not sigh, did not change position, just froze. And only one thought kept my eyes open in the dark. If this is really her, why does she behave like someone waiting for a command, waiting for someone to tell her what to do next? That night, I woke up to silence. silence, not to a sound, but to the absence of one. When the quiet becomes too perfect, too even, as if someone switched it on, I turned toward her. She was lying on her side, facing me, eyes closed, breathing, steady, perfectly steady. Mechanical, like someone imitating sleep, not living it. I stared at her for a long moment. A minute, 3, 5, and then I noticed her eyelids twitched, barely. She blinked, but her eyes did not open. She just lay there, looking at me from behind her closed eyelids. Terror rose straight to my throat. I whispered, "You are not asleep, are you?" Silence. She did not move, not a muscle. I reached out my hand. A light touch to her shoulder. Familiar, gentle, routine. And in that instant, her whole body jolted. She did not wake. She rebooted. She sat up, sharply. Too sharply. Her back straight, head still. And only then, slowly, very slowly, she turned her face toward me. Her eyes opened, but her gaze did not land on me. Unfocused, foreign. She was looking through me. "Are you okay?" I asked. My voice cracked. She blinked. Once, twice, and then she smiled. Softly, warmly, so unnaturally warm that my whole body went cold. "I am fine," she said. "Just a dream." But her voice did not match her face, did not match her. She stood up, walked to the bathroom, and that is when I saw it. On the pillow near the edge, faint in print, tiny, perfectly round, as if something hard had been resting there moments earlier. I turned on the nightlight and saw it. A bracelet, black, plastic, with a thin groove on the inside, like something had once been inserted there. A chip, a magnet, something. It lay there as if someone had ripped it off and did not have time to hide it. I picked it up. It was warm, still warm. When I looked up, she was standing in the bathroom doorway, watching every movement I made. Her face did not shift, not a single muscle. "What is this?" I asked. "No idea," she answered, too fast. As if the reply was pre-programmed, I closed my fist around the bracelet, still warm, like she would been wearing it seconds ago. "Were you wearing this?" I asked. She hesitated. A millisecond. But I saw it. I felt it. "No." I did not know where it came from. We stared at each other, and then she asked softly, "Can I go back to sleep?" Her voice was gentle, polite, as if I were the owner of this house, and she was a guest, afraid to disturb me. She lay down, perfectly aligned, in the exact same position as before, and minutes later, I heard her breathing again, steady, identical, repeating like a metronome ticking in the dark. But I did not sleep, not for a second. Before closing her eyes, she said something I could not get out of my head. That word echoed in my mind as I sat in the dark, because my wife had never spoken like that, and she had never tried to adapt to me. The morning started wrong, not because I slept badly, but because she moved like someone rehearsing her life. The very first time, she stood in the kitchen, her back to me. a mug in her hands, white spimple, the same one she used every day, except she held it with both hands, too carefully, as if she was afraid to drop it. "Good morning," I said. She froze. Her shoulders twitched, just barely, half a second of delay, and only then she turned around, a smile, the exact same one as last night, rehearsed, artificial. "Good morning." The way her head moved, slightly wrong, smooth, but lifeless, like her muscles were learning how to work again. I stepped closer, stopped, watched, where she used to move easily, quickly, naturally. Now every motion felt calculated. She filled the kettle with water and stopped exactly halfway, as if someone had told her in advance, "Up to this line, no more." She opened the fridge, looked at the food, and asked, "What do we usually eat in the morning?" I felt my throat close. "You do not remember?" She smiled, too calmly. "There is a lot I do not remember." She closed the fridge, turned around, and took the wrong step, so wrong that a shiver ran up my spine. She had always walked around the table on the left, always for as long as we lived here. But now she went right, straight into the small cabinet. She bumped into it with her hip, not hard, but enough for me to understand. Her body was following a route my wife had never used. "Are you okay?" I jumped up immediately. She looked at me with a faint confusion, then at the cabinet, and said, "Has this always been here?" My chest dropped. "Always," I said. Then her phone buzzed in her pocket. She flinched, so sharply, as if the sound hurt her. She pulled the phone out, unlocked the screen, and the color drained from her face. There was one notification, huge, like a system alert. "No sender. Check in. 9 o'clock a.m. She turned off the screen, too quickly. "What is that?" I asked. She placed the phone on the table, covered it with her hand. "A reminder for me." "A reminder about what?" "A reminder of where I need to return." My stomach tightened. "Return? Where?" She stepped closer, reached out, touched my hand, carefully, like someone unsure if they are doing it right. "Do not worry," she whispered. "They told me the adaptation would be quick. Just please, do not interfere. Do not interfere." And walked past me, step by step, precise, measured, like a robot following a preloaded route, like the imprint of a strap or a restraint. I did not think. I grabbed her collar and tore it open, the button snapping. On her neck, a bluish ring, perfectly circular. As if she would have been held inside a clamp or a collar, she looked at me with empty eyes and asked, "Why are you looking at me like I am not your wife?" And I understood she was not lying. She genuinely did not know who she was. I let go of her hand. She stood in front of me, calm, quiet, completely unfamiliar. Not a week old, fresh, like it happened yesterday. She adjusted her collar with the same careful movements as everything else, and said evenly, need to go outside. Where? She smiled, empty, for air. She had never said it like that, never called a walk air. I knew her words, her books, her habits, her roots, but this woman spoke like someone who'd been given a list of phrases for basic situations. She walked past me, did not ask for her keys, did not take her bag. She just left. She knew the route. She knew exactly where to go. The door closed. I stood in the hallway for a few seconds, then rushed to the peephole. She was walking down the stairs, slowly, step by step, straight down the middle, like someone who had been told not to go near the walls. I ran to the window, and when she stepped outside, she did not look back. She did not look at the house. She did not look at the street. She looked up, high, right at the cameras, and gave a barely noticeable nod, as if marking her check-in point, as if reporting. A cold shiver went down my spine. She walked on in a straight line, like along an invisible grid. I rushed out of the apartment, slammed the door, and ran downstairs, skipping steps, catching the rhythm of my own feet. By the time I reached the street, she was not close by anymore, but she could not have gone far. Her pace was slow, measured. I finally spotted her at the end of the street, standing by the bus stop, staring at a billboard. A large one, blue, with a white slogan across it, "Retreat," read said, "Rebuild." She touched the letter R with her fingertips. I stepped closer, maybe too fast. She turned, and for the first time, her expression changed, just for a moment, a fraction of a second. Fear. She did not recognize me. She was afraid of me. Her face was fear. "You should not be here," she whispered. "This is not the plan." "What plan?" I stepped closer. "Where were you this week?" She shook her head. "I cannot tell you." "Because you do not remember?" She blinked. Once, slowly. "Because I was forbidden to." At that moment, the bus pulled up. The doors opened. "I need to go," she said. "I need to check." "Check what?" She looked at the digital display inside the bus where glowing letters scrolled. "Check again," and she whispered. Myself, I grabbed her hand. Cold. Too cold for someone alive. "You are not going anywhere alone." She looked at my fingers wrapped around her wrist and said quietly, "You should not touch me." They said, "Touch can ruin everything." "Who said that? Where?" She opened her mouth, closed it. Her gaze trembled, and she whispered, "I am not sure that I am actually me." The bus beeped. People stepped inside. She turned and stepped in without looking back, as if she were going home, just not to our home. A signal to someone, to whom? Someone outside? Someone on the bus? No one reacted, and I felt chills crawl up my spine. I leaned forward. "What does that mean?" Whispered. She did not turn, did not blink. I asked. She inhaled, like someone trying to recall a memorized script. "The people I was with. Where? I do not remember. How did you get there?" "I do not know. Why did you leave?" She smiled, barely, as if the muscles of her face did not know how to do it. "I did not leave. happens to you is mine. She slowly turned her head toward me, and for the first time, I saw an emotion, faint but real. I am not sure I am still your wife. I froze, the air in my chest tightening. What does that mean? She looked out the window at the night city sliding backward. Sometimes they said, memories like clothing. You can take it off, change it, throw it away. Who are they? I clenched my teeth. What people? She closed her eyes. For 1 second, they are not people. The bus slammed on the brakes. People screamed. I grabbed the handrail. She did not move at all. On the electronic screen above the driver, a message lit up, one I had never seen before. Last stop before reset. I felt my blood turn to ice. She stood up, calmly, as if she had known that message forever. I am getting off here. No. I grabbed her hand. We are going home. She looked at my hand, at our fingers, as if they belonged to strangers. Home is not the place I remember, she said softly. I need to check where I was. She stepped off the bus. I followed her. We found ourselves at an empty bus. The street lamp flickering like a dying bulb. She stood at the edge of the sidewalk and stared at a building across the road. Old and gray. The windows boarded up, but on the door, carved brightly. Retreat, reset, rebuild. The same words from the billboard, and I understood only one thing. She had been here before, and I was never meant to be here with her. She took a step toward the door and whispered, if I go in, I might not come back out. Then you are not going in. She turned to me, and for the first time, fear flickered in her eyes. You do not understand, then explain. She shook her head. If they see you next to me, they will think I am not ready yet. Ready for what? She breathed out, barely audible. For a new life. I stepped closer. You are my life. She closed her eyes. And what if I am no longer the same? And in that moment, the door of the building clicked. The door clicked softly, but inside my chest that sound exploded. Like a gunshot. She stood a meter away from it, her whole body pulled forward, as if someone invisible was tugging her by a thread. I felt my fingers trembling, not from fear, from anger, from helplessness, from the memory of her saying a week ago, I will be right back, and then disappearing. And now, a shadow was pulling her back to wherever she had become someone else. Do not come closer, she whispered, not turning around. Why? They can see you. I glanced around. Empty street, flickering streetlight, shuttered windows. No one. Who are they? She raised her hand without touching the door. Those who helped me become like this. I stepped forward. She stepped back, reflexively, like a current passed between us. I do not want to go back in, she said. But if I do not enter, they will come to the house. Who? I repeated, too sharply. She exhaled, barely, painfully. The people who help you forget. My jaw clenched. Why did you go there at all? She turned her head slowly, for the first time looking directly at me, her eyes clear, calm, wrong. Because I needed to disappear. My heart dropped. inside smelled of damp wood, medicine, and something sweet that coated everything else. Like the scent of a new life, where the past does not belong. The light was soft and focused, not lamps, a haze. Silence so thick it felt like a sound, its own. She stepped inside, and before I understood why, I followed her. The door closed behind us quietly, almost as if it did not want to disturb our decision. The room looked like a mix between a clinic and a spa. White walls, smooth surfaces, gentle shadows. No signs, no people, just a suffocating quiet that made my temples pulse. There is no one here, I whispered. They're near, just not here. Her voice trembled. I wrapped her in my gaze. Are you afraid? She bit her lip, familiar gesture. I'm afraid they will think I'm ready to continue. Continue what? She did not answer, because a sound drifted down the hallway, not a step. A sliding movement crossed the floor, like something moving without legs, like a shadow dragging itself forward. She tensed. Do not speak, she whispered. They listen to speech. I froze, and then I saw it. The door at the far end of the corridor, matte white, with gold letters, reset, hall. She went pale. I have been there. What is inside? She looked straight into my eyes. They give you a new memory. Something twisted inside me. You agreed to that? She shook her head. They brought me. Who? She swallowed. A woman in white. She said I was too broken to live in the old life. I stepped closer. Hey, do you want to go back to the old life? To us? To me? She stared at me for a long moment, and I saw it. Yes, behind the layers of someone else's voice, someone else's gestures, someone else's walk. My wife was still alive. I am trying, she whispered. And then a soft, velvety woman's voice came from the ceiling. Patient 27, you have returned. She froze. Terror filled her eyes. Real terror, almost childlike. Do not answer, I whispered. Patient 27, the voice repeated. Please proceed to the restoration hall. I grabbed her hand. Do not go there. She bit her lip, closed her eyes. If I do not go, they will come for me and for you. Then we are leaving. Right now, she lifted her head. You do not understand. Then explain it to me. She leaned to my ear, so quietly, almost without breath. They are already here. The corridor light flickered. The light flickered once, and the hallway grew narrower. The air heavier, and the silence deeper. She gripped my hand as if she were afraid she would fall straight through the floor. She let go. Do not look back, she whispered. Why? They appear only when someone turns around. I did not have time to ask who they were, because at the end of the hallway, she appeared. The woman in white, tall, her face like a mask, calm, perfect, without a single emotion, without a single wrinkle, her hair pulled into a tight, perfectly smooth ponytail, bare feet, and her steps, strange, too soft, as if she were not touching the floor at all. She stopped, right across from us. she said, her voice flat, like someone reading an airport announcement. Return outside the schedule. My wife tightened, barely, but I felt it. I was not supposed to leave, she whispered. They do not like when patients leave. I stepped forward. She is not a patient. She is my wife. The woman turned her head toward me, not her face, her head, unnaturally, like sphere on a hinge. She no longer holds the status of wife, the woman said. She is a restored subject. She is a human being, I said, my voice breaking. The woman in white looked down at my hand, at how I was holding my wife's fingers. That it's prohibited contact. Subject 27 is in the stage of cleansing from attachments. They must disappear, so a new life can begin. My wife inhaled quietly, like someone preparing to jump. I do not want a new life, she said suddenly. I want my own. The woman in white tilted her head slightly. Previous self is destroyed. We did that at your own request. That is a lie, I said. She was taken. She never asked. The woman in white blinked once. The subject's memory was cleaned. She does not know what she asked for. My heart hit so hard, I heard the pulse in my ears. I took another step. Tell me what you did to my wife. The woman in white raised her hand, and for the first time, I saw her fingers tremble. Barely, but they trembled. That is irrelevant. The procedures were successful. Shadows, a room, a voice. It said, to start living, you must forget everything. I said, you said no. I cut her off. You would never give up your son. Never. The woman in white looked at me with something almost like interest. She did give him up, she said calmly, because we gave her a reason. And I understood. What happened to her was not just the erasing of memory. It was the rewriting of love, hers and mine. A heavy anger rose inside me, thick, dark. We are leaving, I said. Now, the woman in white lowered her hand. She may leave, she said, but then you will stay. My wife jerked toward me. Do not you dare touch him. The woman smiled, dryly, mechanically. We do not touch people. We change them. And she took a step forward, a step back. My wife grabbed my elbow. Do not look into her eyes. Then she cannot. She froze. Cannot what? The woman in white stopped 3 meters away. Cannot rewrite the answer you were supposed to give. My stomach dropped. What answer? Woman lifted her chin to the only question that decides who you will become next. Are you willing to forget her so she can become her new self? I stepped back. She stepped forward. The hallway flickered again. She pulled me back sharply, almost painfully. Do not go to them. Do not look. Do not answer, she whispered. They feed on decisions. I did not understand the words, but I understood the fear. It was real, thick as smoke. The people in white moved slowly in sync, as if one breath guided them, one heart, one will. The woman in white pointed to a door on the side, metal, cold, handleless. Patient 27, she said evenly. Return to the room. Adjustment incomplete. My wife shook her head. I will not sign anything. I want to go home. Home, the woman repeated quietly, as if tasting the word. Home disappears when you disappear. It no longer exists. It does. And she is traumatic attachment. I felt something hit me in the chest. What attachment? The woman answered instantly. To you. My fingers went numb. That is a lie. That is a documented request. You may review it. She turned toward the wall panel. A screen lit up. My wife's name, her signature, the phrase, remove dependency on spousal object, preserve polite interaction functionality. A wave of cold washed over me so sharply, the screen blurred. She did not sign that, I whispered. The signature is generated after consent, the woman said calmly. My wife exhaled, shaky, fragile. I remember light. I remember a voice. It said, to begin living again, you must let go of everything. I said, you would never let go of us. I said, never. Not me, not our time. The woman in white raised her hand. Subject 27 no longer has attachment to the child. That memory was successfully removed. The people in white stepped too, at the exact same moment, as if we were reflections in a mirror. The woman spoke calmly, almost gently. If you insist on continuing cohabitation, we can offer you a memory alignment program. You'll forget the child, forget the conflict, forget the refusal. You will become compatible again. My wife gave a small sob. Do not listen, she whispered. They bend people, break them, erase everything that stops them from being controlled. She did not finish. One of the people in white stepped forward and said quietly, without emotion, Patient 27, proceed. The protocol requires completion. She stepped back and then stepped in front of her. No one is touching her. The woman in white gave a faint smile. When patients leave at the wrong time, we are obligated to return them. This is safety. Safety for whom? I asked. She blinked once for the structure, and then the back door, that same metal door, opened silently. A burst of cold air hit my face. For the first time, I saw what was inside. A chair, restraints, light, white, blinding. And on the ceiling, on a small screen, someone's eyes, watching. Blinking too slowly to be human. My wife inhaled sharply, almost choking on the air. Do not let them. I did not think. I acted. As if something ancient, instinctive, grabbed me by the throat and dragged me forward, away from the light, away from the chair, away from those people with identical faces. I seized her hand. Cold, too light, as if they had really taken part of her past out of her, leaving empty spaces behind. The people in white moved toward us immediately, in perfect sync, as if someone pressed a button. One step, another, all three, like figures from a dream you cannot wake up from. Run, she whispered, but her voice was not pleading, it was warning, as if she already knew what would happen next. I pulled her toward the exit. The floor shone with a gray, slippery sheen. In the hallway, the camera, a black eye. It turned after us smoothly, almost alive. A flat voice came from the speakers. Patient 27 has violated protocol. Stop. Correction is now required. I pulled harder. We were almost at the elevator. behind us came something strange, a sound like the inhale of a giant machine. Too fast, too silent. The people in white sped up, running, but making no sound, like shadows with no weight. The elevator was close. I slammed the button. The doors opened, and I shoved her inside. One of the white figures reached out at the last second. Long fingers, thin, almost not human. I hit the close button. The door snapped shut, and his fingers dragged across them, leaving a long, pale streak. The elevator lurched downward. She stood in the corner, breathing heavily, the shadows under her eyes, deep, as if light refused to touch her. "You should not have come," she whispered. "This place does not accept those who resist." "But I accept you," I said. My voice shook, my heart hammered as if trying to break out. "I am not leaving you. You do not understand." She covered her face with her hands. They rewrote me. I am not the same. I am part of their program. And if I leave, she lifted her head. Panic flickered in her eyes. "They will come for you." The elevator stopped. A dull, slow stop. Too slow. Like it was deciding whether to release us. The doors slid open. Empty underground corridor. A red alarm light blinked once, twice. "Run," she said again. "While we still can, we'll burst forward." The corridor stretched endlessly, the walls smooth, without doors, without windows, as if we were running inside a giant machine, breathing cold, slow breaths. Behind us, footsteps, uneven, speeding up, tracking us by echo. When we finally reached the exit, the heavy metal door ahead began to close. Too fast, too deliberate. "Faster!" she shouted. We sprinted. At the last moment, I slid under the door, feeling the metal scrape coldly across my jacket. She slipped through behind me, and the door slammed shut with a crash that shook the walls. Silence fell like water clouds. We stood in a dark service tunnel. It smelled of dust, old wires, something electrical. She clutched my shoulder. "They will not stop. They never stop." And then, from behind the wall, slowly, yahtingly, something scratched, as if someone dragged their hand along the inside of the concrete. And I understood. Escape was just the beginning. We stood in the darkness of the tunnel. The sound disappeared first. Silence wrapped its fingers around mine, cold, nervous, and everything inside me was shaking. "They're coming," she whispered. Her lips barely moved. I wanted to ask who, but the meaning of that word already felt useless. At the far end of the tunnel, something clicked. Once, twice, rhythmic, like footsteps, like something learning how to walk. We started moving forward, not running. No, we were afraid that if we ran, panic would be the first thing to catch us. The light above flickered, long industrial lamps humming like an old radio. She kept glancing over her shoulder. "Do not look," I said. "It is worse." "I have to see," she whispered, "to know it is not right behind us." The click echoed again, closer this time, definitely a step, one, then another, a breath, and then inhale, and then a sound that froze my spine. Something touched the wall, slowly, evenly, scraping along it, like long, dry fingers searching the concrete for us. She stopped, so suddenly I bumped into her shoulder. "They were not supposed to know I left," she said. They were supposed to think I was still there." Slowly, almost regretfully, they started as people. The steps quickened. Now there were two of them, or one, but on the other side of the wall. The sound came from multiple directions at once, like the tunnel itself was shifting, reshaping to help whatever hunted us. "This way," she said, and shoved me toward a side ventilation grate. I wanted to say we would not fit, that it was insane, that the metal was half rusted through, but behind us came a breath, a strange one, like someone's lungs worked on a different rhythm. She climbed in first, squeezing through the narrow, rusted opening. The metal groaned like it was screaming. I followed. Something behind us sped up. No longer footsteps. Something longer, dragging itself, moving sideways along the wall. We ended up inside a narrow ventilation shaft. Darkness thick as smoke. The air smelled of dust and something else. Something old, but alive. I was closing the grate when I saw it through the crack, a shadow, moving slowly, evenly, not a person. The shadow advanced, as if collecting the warmth left on the walls by our bodies. I froze, stopped breathing. In that shadow, something twitched, and then I heard it. A quiet sound, like fingertips brushing against metal, measuring distance, memorizing it, and then a voice, male, dull, distorted, as if the words were not spoken by a throat, but pushed out from somewhere deep inside. "Patient 7, respond." She gripped my hand so sharply, her nails dug into my skin. "Go," she whispered. "If he hears your breathing, he will find us." And I realized, in this narrow metal tunnel, every breath echoed. I covered my mouth with my hand. She did the same, and we crawled, blindly, slowly, like two people who understood. Survival was not in moving fast, but in keeping the inside of your body completely silent. Behind us, the scraping started again, closer. My spine turned into a steel wire. The air thickened where it had approached. We crawled, on knees, elbows, counting breaths, matching movements. A faint light appeared ahead, barely visible. A small grate leading outside. I turned my head for 1 second and saw a fracture of darkness behind us. As if something there was slowly standing up. I did not look longer. Maybe it was better that way. "Almost there," I whispered. "Hold on." She nodded, and we crawled faster. But one thing did not leave my mind. That voice, that single phrase, "Patient 7," that was not her number. That was my number. We crawled out to the left side of the station. The underground air shifted into the wet, nighttime cold. The first thing I did was inhale deeply, so deeply. Felt like I was trying to pull back the lungs I would left in that tunnel. She leaned against the wall, trembling in small, rapid shocks, her whole body beating like one giant heart. I wanted to ask who that was, but she lifted her hand, sharply, almost painfully, as if cutting the air in half, and whispered, "Not here, not out loud." Right then, a train roared above us, its lights slashing across her face, exposing the fear she had been hiding all this time, and I realized she knew far more than she ever said. We ran along the station wall, because the body chooses movement long before the mind can think, and only when we burst into an empty parking lot, she stopped, braced her hands on her knees, breathing hard, and said, "It is not me they are after. It is you." I froze. Everything inside me went instantly cold. I wanted to laugh, say it was absurd, say no one knew me, say she was the one who had disappeared, not me. But she lifted her head and looked at me as if I had been living the wrong life this whole time. "Patient 7 is you," she said quietly, each word hitting the air like heavy metal. "I was never kept in that place," she continued. "I was in another wing with other people, other rules, but they talked about you constantly." My stomach twisted. Vague images flash, replacing one another, too sharp to be dreams. A light above me, figures standing too close, cold metal, needles, voices I had always mistaken for nightmares, because they were too bright to be memories. "You remembered, did not you?" she asked softly. "Remember the feeling that someone touched you while you slept? That someone spoke to you just before morning?" And yes, I did remember. I just never connected it to anything real. I stepped back. Truth is always a blow, but truth you do not remember is a fractured opening inside your mind. She stood up and walked into her apartment. The door somehow was not locked. She went into the kitchen, put the kettle on the stove. The door stayed open, like it was inviting us to enter. I watched her move, watched her set the kettle down. I had been searching for my wife all week, and now she looked at me as if she had been the one searching for me. Something flickered inside her, a short, painful recognition, like a lightning flash that disappears instantly, leaving only the smell of ozone behind. She pressed her palms against the table, as if afraid she might fall, and whispered, "You were not supposed to go back there." Froze. Every word she spoke sounded like a borrowed instruction, calm, strained, spoken in a voice that did not belong to her. "Back where?" I asked quietly. She closed her eyes and said, "To that room neither of you were supposed to remember." A cold shiver slid down my spine. The room I had seen my whole life only in dreams, sterile, white, too quiet, with that heavy light hanging above, suddenly flashed into my memory as a sharp, painful frame. I was standing on a metal table, my hands strapped down, a voice behind me saying, "Patient 7 is unstable. We will have to override his memory." I inhaled so sharply my chest cramped. She opened her eyes and looked at me, truly looked, deeply, anxiously, and whispered, "They did this to you for so long. You just were not supposed to know. I took a step closer, and she recoiled slightly, as if afraid that touching me was forbidden. With whom, for so long, asked. But in that moment she pressed a finger to her lips, and in her eyes appeared a fear I had never seen in her before. If you remember everything, they will come again. I wanted to ask who they were, but she whispered something else. You came back too early. And then I understood the worst truth. It was not she who disappeared. It was me. And the thing that returned home was a man who was never meant to remember. She stood by the wall, her shoulder pressed against it, as if she were trying to hold herself inside this house, inside this reality, inside this body. I could see she was hurting, but the pain was not physical. It was the pain of a memory, tearing a person apart from the inside. You came back too early, she repeated, her voice trembling. Came back from where? I asked. She slowly lifted her gaze. And spoke so quietly. I breathed out. She shook her head, almost frightened. I am not supposed to say they forbade us. They take memories not only from those they correct, but from those who try to bring them home. A step closer. Who are they? She looked at me as if, for the first time this week, she was not seeing an enemy or a stranger, but her husband. He promised to tell no one, she whispered. But I remember everything. My fists tightened. Then tell me, she inhaled, and quietly, almost without sound, said, you did not disappear alone. Bergprilla dropped out for a second. I did not understand. What do you mean, not alone? She closed her eyes. You were patient 7, she said. And I was patient 27. It felt like something cracked inside my skull. The air turned heavy, like wet concrete. No, I exhaled. No, that is insane. I'll never lay in a metal table. She stepped toward me. Never heard someone behind you say, memory unstable, increase protocol. A shock ripped through me. Inside, a burst of light, the smell of sterile alcohol, cold beneath my shoulder blades, straps across my chest. I squeeze my eyes shut. How do you know that? I asked hoarsely. She came even closer. Tears shimmered in her eyes, quiet, unbearable. I remember you screaming my name, she whispered, calling for me. When they erased your memory, you stopped speaking at all. My legs felt hollow. Why did I remember? She whispered, because they erased everything in there except one thing. What? She placed her hand on my chest, right where my heart was pounding. Me, the world tilted. The room shrank. I saw only her. You always came back for me, she said. Even when they tried to turn you into someone else, you found me every single time. I stood before her like a man piecing his past back together from shards. Why were you gone for a week? I asked quietly. She looked away. A tear slid down her cheek. Because this time they came for me, and then I understood. Everything I thought was the beginning was only a continuation of someone else's experiment. And this week was not my first disappearance. She watched me closely, as if waiting for the truth to hit me. This is the 6th, she said softly. And every previous one they erased successfully. 6, I repeated, as if trying to chew a word that simply did not fit into my consciousness. She nodded. Yes, 6. 5 times before this, they took me. 5 times they erased my memory. 5 times they brought me back when they were sure I was ready. But you sensed it every time. Even when you did not remember anything, something inside you recognized that I was gone. Cold crawled across my skin. Why do not I remember any of it? Not even once. She lowered her gaze. Because you were looking for me every time, and every time they found me, I repeated. What does that even mean? What did they do? She stepped back, as if every memory was a wound being torn open again. You think they only erased my life? She said. When they brought me back, they came to you as well. Not here, not home, there, where I could barely breathe. She lifted her eyes in that room where the blue light burns, where it smells like alcohol, metal, and cold, where the masked people do not use names, only numbers, where I heard you calling for me. I seeped into my bones. I was there. I asked. You were patient 7, she repeated. The one who resisted. The one who tried every time to break into the section where they kept me. They were afraid you would remember, so when they returned me, they corrected you. The words slammed in my temples. So, I exhaled. My normal state right now is just someone's correction. She covered her face with her hands. They were not supposed to notice we were connected. That you were looking for me not with your mind, not with memory, but with something else. Something reflexive. You always found me. Always. And it broke the protocol. I stepped closer. What do they want? Why us? She was silent for a long moment, and said softly, terrifyingly, they do not erase memory. They erase choice. They make sure people stop asking questions, that families stop holding on to each other, that no one clings to pain. They are creating a generation with no attachments, no love. It is easier to control people that way, easier to control us. I felt something boiling inside me. And you think they will stop? She shook her head. No, this time they want to take you completely, not for correction, not temporarily, forever. You connected too many pieces in your mind, even when they erased everything. You found me. You remembered Artyom. You felt the lie. To them, you are malfunction, and malfunctions get eliminated. A ringing filled my ears. He said, "This is the 6th time," I whispered. "Why did you remember everything now?" A trembling, almost a real smile touched her lips. Because you said my name the right way, the way you used to. last moment, I swallowed. But I did not say, "You did," she whispered gently. "You said it in your sleep, right before I left the bedroom. That is when they took me. I was walking away, but your word, it kept ringing in my head. I held on to it." She lifted her eyes. "You brought me back before they could erase everything again." My chest tightened as if something cracked inside. "We need to run," I said. "Now." Her gaze shook. "They will find us anywhere. If we stay, they will take me, and you too." She took my hand, then grabbed the documents. Only what we need, I forced myself to think. And only when I stepped to the closet and pulled out the suitcase did the thought strike me like fire. Why did we end up in that center at all? She spoke barely aloud. We went there ourselves, voluntarily, after Artyom, after we could not breathe anymore without him, after he died. Darkness flashed before my eyes. "We went ourselves," I whispered. She nodded, slowly, painfully. "We saw an ad, a program that helps people survive loss. Promise that the pain would disappear, that memories could be softened, that we could live again. We were broken, shattered. We did not know how to live without him, and we agreed, both of us." "Why did I still remember?" I asked. She stepped closer and touched my chest. "Everything was erased in you, except the most important thing. You remembered he existed. You remembered you loved him. But the pain, the pain, the pain, the pain, the pain, the coup away. Only that, but the memory of him kept you alive, and that is why you could find me." The world tilted, and then, from the stairwell, came a sound. A quiet, rhythmic step. One. I turned my head toward the door. I saw the door handle slowly turn downward. She gripped my hand so tightly, it felt like she was trying to keep me from falling into a void. My whole body became one single, pounding heart. "Do not look into their eyes," she whispered. "Never." "Why?" "Because that is how they choose who to take." The door opened, just a hand's width. The shadow behind it was too sharp, too focused, too alive, as if more than one person stood there, or something more than human, heavy breathing. And then a voice, low, calm, hypnotically even. "Patient 7, come with us." My toes went ice cold. I knew that voice. I would heard it before. Somewhere in that place where the blue light burned, where it smelled of alcohol and cold, where someone erased pieces of my life. She stepped forward, shielding me with her body. "He is not a patient," she said. "He's not yours. Either we surrender or we run. Run where? Tonight we have a chance. One chance." The hand behind the door moved faster. The door opened wider, and I saw him. The man in black, his face covered. Only the eyes visible. Gray, flat, glassy. Snowflake that endless room where they kept us. Patient 7, did something I never expected. She slammed the door with all her strength right into his face. At the same second, she grabbed my hand and shouted, "Run!" We burst into the hallway through a mass of blackness, fear pumping fire into our legs. We flew down the stairs, skipping steps, hearing how they were already running after us from above. "Where?" I gasped. "To the car. Hurry." We exploded out into the street. Cold slapped us across the face. She sprinted toward the old silver Ford we would been meaning to sell for years. The key trembled in her hand, but the door opened. "Get in." I dove inside. She slid into the driver's seat, started the engine as if begging it to live. And when the headlights sliced through the darkness, I saw the shadow in the doorway. They were standing there. Two of them staring straight at us. No faces, no emotion. Just waiting for the next move. She hit the gas. The car jerked forward. The tires screamed. Snow lifted into the air. And we shot into the night, into a place where the roads did not yet know we were. When the city lights dissolved behind us, she finally spoke, her voice calm for the first time. "If we stop, it will take you and me, embrace everything that is left between us. We need a new city, a new name, a new life. Are you sure we can make it?" I asked. She looked at me the way the old her used to look. Soft, warm, real. "Do we have a choice?" "I choose you," she said. And in a rear-view mirror, I saw them, blue headlights flaring to life on the highway behind us. Stay, synchronized, inevitable. They were coming. But for now, for this one stretch of night, we still had a chance. We drove through the whole night, down highways with no streetlights, across bridges that felt like they were letting us pass for the last time, through small towns where 24-hour gas stations looked like the only islands of life. Every time she touched my shoulder and whispered, "All clear for now," I believed her. Almost. Because in the rearview mirror, sometimes. We entered a small seaside town, the kind where even the mailboxes looked tired. We rented a tiny house from an old woman who did not care who we were. Here the sun rose slowly, and people smiled just because they could. Everything felt normal, ordinary, alive. She stood at the window and for the first time in a week, she smiled for real. "They will not find us here," she said quietly. I wanted to believe her. I wanted to become someone who could believe. But sometimes at night, I heard how she jolted awake at the smallest sound, how she stared at the door, how she whispered numbers under her breath, as if checking herself, making sure she had not slipped there again. But in the daylight, she returned to life. Today is our first normal day. I am sitting in the garden on an old wooden chair that creaks beneath me, as if telling the story of everyone who ever sat on it. The warm wind from the sea carries the smell of salt and something fresh. The birds are singing, and for the first time, it does not sound like mockery. And from inside the house comes the smell of cookies. her cookies, the ones with cinnamon and a drop of lemon. She makes them the way someone tries to remember something, or tries to protect something precious. I hear her placing the tray inside the oven. I hear her laughing at herself because she added too much sugar. I hear her humming that little song she used to sing to our son. And I understand she is coming back. Millimeter by millimeter, breath by breath, cookie by cookie. I know this is not the ending. We are not safe. He, the man, the shadow, the reason behind all this, could find us again. They all could. But right now, she is standing in the kitchen in an old t-shirt, her hair tied in a lazy knot, smiling at the window the way she used to smile. And I am thinking only one thing. I chose her, the one who returned, broken, rewritten, fragile, but real. And if one day she regains everything they stole from her, if one day she remembers even the things I am afraid to hear, I will still be here. Because love is not memory. Love is a choice, and I made mine. I am sitting in the garden saying this out loud so I do not forget. So I do not let myself run from the truth again, from the pain, from the love. She's in the kitchen right now, baking cookies. Those cookies, our favorite. And the whole house smells like cinnamon and childhood. She's smiling, and I know she is coming back to herself, little by little, step by step. But while I was recording this video, my phone vibrated. A notification from an unknown number. Just 2 words. She remembers. And I do not know what exactly she remembers. For who? This story is not over. And if someday she walks out of that kitchen and looks at me the way she did the night she peered in the doorway, I will still choose her, even if the whole world screams, run. I will choose her because we stay, not because we are unafraid, but because we love harder than fear. And if you are watching this video, it means I am still beside her today. And tomorrow we will see. Every one of us has a moment when the world cracks, and the reality you trusted suddenly feels like a sad place. When someone or something tries to rewrite your life, as if you were a stranger inside your own memory. And in that moment, only one question remains. Will you hold on to the one you love, or let them erase the very thing that keeps you alive? If this story touched you, if you have ever felt that your memories are not a shield, do not keep it inside, because someone next to you right now might also be trying to remember who they are. Someone who is convinced to forget the way home. Write one word in the comments, any word, a word you have been holding inside. We will see it, we will read it. We are here, always here, for those who are still holding on to their truth. And you know, sometimes love is not a memory. Love is the one thing no one has ever been able to erase. I jumped onto the bus the very second the doors started closing. people turned their heads. Someone scoffed under their breath, but I saw only her, sitting by the window, her hands on her knees, folded so neatly, as if someone had trained her to sit like that. She was staring straight ahead, unblinking. I sat behind her, slightly to the side, far enough not to disturb her, close enough to see every movement she made. The bus started moving. The dim stoplight flickered and dissolved behind the glass. She did not notice, or pretended not to. Her head tilted, slightly to the right, like someone listening to something inside themselves. The bus hummed. It smelled of wet jackets and cheap coffee, but she sat perfectly straight, too straight. And then she lifted her hand and wrote one short word on the fogged-up window. Wait. She stood up and walked into our apartment. The door somehow was not locked. She went into the kitchen and put the kettle on the stove. The door stayed open, like it was inviting us to enter and remain. I watched her move, watched her set the kettle down. I had been searching for my wife all week, and now she looked at me as if she had been the one searching for me. Something flickered inside her, a short, painful recognition, like a lightning flash that disappears instantly, leaving only the smell of ozone behind. She pressed her palms against the table, as if afraid she might fall, and whispered, "You were not supposed to go back there." Froze. Every word she spoke sounded like a borrowed instruction, calm, strained, spoken in a voice that did not belong to her. "Back where?" I asked quietly. She closed her eyes and said, "To that room neither of you were supposed to remember." A cold shiver slid down my spine. The room I had seen my whole life only in dreams, sterile, white, too quiet, with that heavy light hanging above, suddenly flashed into my memory as a sharp, painful frame. I was standing on a metal table, my hands strapped down, a voice behind me saying, "Patient 7 is unstable. We will have to override his memory." I inhaled so sharply my chest cramped. She opened her eyes and looked at me, truly looked, deeply, anxiously, and whispered, "They did this to you for so long. You just were not supposed to know." I took a step closer, and she recoiled slightly, as if afraid that touching me was forbidden. "With whom? For so long?" I asked. But in that moment she pressed a finger to her lips, and in her eyes appeared a fear I had never seen in her before. "If you remember everything, they will come again." I wanted to ask who they were, but she whispered something else. "You came back too early." And then I understood the worst truth. It was not she who disappeared. It was me, and the thing that returned home was a man who was never meant to remember.